warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu wa Ramadan Mubarak. Marhaban bikum. Welcome to the Islamic Center of Irving and our drive-through Iftaar number 8. This is the last one for the year. Going through. It's packed and ready. Looks like our team was well prepared because they seem to be resting right now, which is a first. Right now, we're only running one line through right now, so things are moving a little slow. We're still working out some logistical details on the other side right now. I believe the walk-ups are still finishing before they open up the other side. So there are walk-ups available. Serve them first before we let the cars start coming through, because as you can imagine, chaos spills onto the roadway and becomes a hazard if we were to try and roll them through at that time. But from what I can see, they're just about done. The walkthroughs, the first line is already moving. And as soon as they clear out, them should be opening up the other line and starting to move in an orderly fashion. We're letting the cars in slowly, and there's a long line of them, which was already queued up for This is the 26th Ramadan, it's the 27th night, the odd minutes, the last 10th of the month of Ramadan, 1442. So there will inevitably be plenty of activity going on here at the Islamic Center, as well as in many of our homes, seeking Laylatul Qadr, prayer, reading the Quran, reflection, other acts of worship, charity, all of the above, any and every good that you can possibly think of. Tonight is the night to busy yourself with that above everything else. These best nights of the entire year, which are the nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, seeking Laylatul Qadr, as we know, خير من ألف شهر, better than 1,000 months, which is over 85 years. Once we get kind of into a rhythm here, I'm going to go ahead and try and touch base with a number of our pillars of this effort. Let them give any parting comments, any last words to the community, inshallah. Today, as the post indicates, is provided by Texas King. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah reward them with good. Packing up the food is again handled by our amazing team of volunteers, many from the youth. We were here most of the night last night for some youth programming, some youth activities. And from my understanding, many of them will be here again tonight as well. These sorts of opportunities for the youth to serve their community, recognized and lauded for the good work that they do is a very positive thing and something that's very important for us to facilitate and to highlight to the realize that they are appreciated for the good that they do. We're still running through the walkthroughs. Yeah.
They're talking themselves. The party was saying you need to don't talk.
Saeed, how are you? His brother Robin. He just moved from Canada to here.
Canada.
Yeah.
So this is a new change for you.
It is. Toronto to New York to Dallas to Irving.
Brother Saeed is from Washington.
Minnesota, actually.
Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah, much closer to the area. Not quite Toronto, but
How do you like it?
it's not bad. I mean, if you're trying to get away from cold winters, you found the right place.
Well, it's kind of warm here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me, you'll love that.
I like it. I mean,
The summers are a bit of an adjustment.
it is. I mean, it's no different than being in India.
He's originally from Kerala. His parents are from Kerala.
Kerala, okay.
I'm used to the heat, but the thing is, it's the difference between here and New York is the humidity. Here you're getting direct heat, but over there the humidity will get you. That's the irony, because people don't believe me. My coworkers in New York, I said, it's actually hotter in New York than it is here. And people here in general are a lot more fun. So, as with any place, I'm sure there's a difference in anyway. How are you?
That's the end of the semester. Brother Saeed is also part of the outreach. So if you have any materials,
Yeah, absolutely.
I better have he's interested in Islam, but he is first language is Spanish. Because the brothers that came to me were gone home.
Yeah.
And that's not the way, because
I am live.
I was at this point I was going to can you change that so he knows more things and he asked me to change that that one. Give him the update and make it better for him.
because I read
That one?
it's not the same thing. That's just what I
Talk to us. I was on top. How Pakistan like last time I was given
that's actually more
he's getting it. No, no, sir. No, give them can use it. Give them money they can use. Money.
I mean, I'm going
Cash or
to
gifts or whatever.
get my citizenship.
Yeah, talk to us.
By the end of the year.
You have 12 years old. It is really better.
I mean, I just want to
Okay, I don't know. This is like
one thing is what piqued your interest about Islam? All things.
okay.
That doesn't make any sense to me, but Allah works in the best of ways.
Okay, so you want to give
That's the way he comes to his knowledge. Allah knows how it is. I pray for that every single day. And I don't forget that. It's really nice meeting you, brother. You know, like, we'll see you soon.
I was thinking
Alright, assalamu alaikum everybody. My apologies for that sort of segue that we had going on in the background.
we can print out a certificate.
But that's what happens when you're out in the open. It's not only talk. But mashallah, it's good. May not have understood all of the conversation, but I was being introduced to a brother that recently relocated to the urban area. And we're talking about just general, how's the weather, sort of stuff, these sorts of things. But then he was telling me about his wife, who is non-Muslim, but has an interest in Islam. But her first language is Spanish, and so I was hoping to find some people that explain to her the original religion more depth, more directness, so that she can benefit from it, etc. in Spanish. And so we were talking about that, about the outreach department at the Islamic Center of Irving. We will be more than happy to assist in that regard and to provide some resources for her. We have materials to aid in Spanish for sure, but we also have some fantastic volunteers and members of the community that can assist in speaking to others about Islam in the Spanish language. This is very needed. This is going to be a focus of the outreach moving forward in the coming months and the coming year, inshallah, as a primary focus, because the nature of our community, for those who don't know, in Irving in general and in our neighborhood in particular, the percentage of Hispanic residents in this area is approximately 45%. So that's a very high percentage in general. And if we're being completely honest, the amount of work we're doing in the Hispanic community right now is really one of the best. So we have a lot of ground to cover and a lot of work to do in order to fulfill our responsibilities in that regard. So besides finding guys that can assist with helping spread the message, and I've got some offers to visit some apartment buildings already to speak to the communities there and get the translator available, and some already established connections to start to bridge those gaps, but to market the services that we have, things like this, like these drive-through on-deal programs. This obviously is for Ramadan, but for those who don't know, there is a program that is on site here Monday through Friday around 6 p.m. throughout the year in partnership with an organization by the sisters in our community, by the organizations. So we partner with them in providing hot meals to people every day throughout the week. And so that's a service that we provide, letting them know about that so they can take advantage of it. Food insecurity being at like 1 in 7 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's 50%. And you think of the 7 people that you met today, one of them doesn't know where their next meal is coming from. That's the reality. That is the actual reality of our society and our communities. And even more so in some communities, especially communities of color and other at-risk communities like the Hispanic community, the undocumented community. So us being more proactive in reaching out to them and providing services, letting them know that they're there, is crucially important. We also have, as many of you may already be aware, a food pantry that's been in operation since last year around this time, actually just slightly before this time, just right at the cusp of the pandemic beginning. We fed hundreds of families, thousands of meals over the course of the last year, up to 60 miles one way. So, you know, there's that service that's available to people so that they can have the food that they need to provide basic nutrition to themselves and their families. In addition to that, we have a medical clinic which opened right around the same time. And of course, because of the pandemic, it was shut down. But they've been doing telehealth medical support since that time. And they're still available, and they are specifically for the uninsured, so that's another service that's available, besides, of course, our financial aid services that we provide, of which, for those who aren't aware, Zakat al-Fitr is going to be distributed tomorrow here at ICI, so applications are being processed as we speak, checks will be made ready for them at that time. If you have not already paid your Zakat al-Fitr, you can go to the irvingmasjid.org website and donate online to pay the Fitr. The Fitr is $10 per person. That is for the living, breathing soul of your household at the time of. So even a newborn baby is counted for purposes of Zakat al-Fitr. So $10 per person. Please try and make sure to put that in as soon as possible so that it's available and can be distributed to the families in need in a timely fashion so that they can enjoy the Eid along with everybody else. Right in the middle. If they're giving food, that's one thing. As you see, we're having a host of logistical issues today for some reason. Not entirely sure why we're having so many logistical issues, but we are. So we have all of these services, and it's important that everybody knows about this. And for those in our community that may be blessed to not be needing any of these services themselves, please do not hesitate to spread the information to those that do. Make sure that they're aware of it. Make sure that they know that they can turn to us. And even if we don't have the resources that they need, we will put them in touch with other organizations where resources can be found. Inshallah ta'ala. That is part of what we do. That is part of, in all honesty, the outreach department and what we're trying to accomplish. So I want you all to share the information so that we know what is available and they can take advantage of it or come to us and we can help them find the resources that they need to needs that they have, and hopefully meet the needs that they don't know that they have, be able to provide them a sense of stability and security that allows them to thrive in the coming year. Of those who give to those in need the following year. Inshallah.
You guys didn't come for Mars thing? Oh, sorry, the Mikhail thing?
As you're watching what's going on right now, I'd like everybody, as always, lift up the work that you're seeing done, all of the people doing it to your with sincerity, for the acceptance of their works, and forgiveness of their sins. And us in our community
Go slow.
protection that seeks to undermine the forces of good in the society. We acknowledge, of course, that no individual organization is perfect, is without blemishes, without failures, but as a community, we're doing the very best that we can. So we ask you to continue
Give it to her.
these efforts as successfully as possible. And we pleasure in the acceptance of the law. This is the final goal, as it should be with everything, inshallah.
Now pick your hand up. Higher. Yes. You're gonna come grab the ball. Oh, why did you move?
You play basketball tonight? Again?
Tonight? It's not better to left, yeah? If I don't follow you, then अरे यासिर भाई Come on, come on. Just like
Can you help them give out juice? I gotta go to my car.
I'll do it. এখানে আসো
Apologies for that.
Go ahead, one job, come on.
बेटा ये भी उठाओ प्लास्टिक प्लास्टिक
ওইদিকে যাও ওইদিকে
Well, because of the slower than usual procession, the line of cars is staying consistent tonight. The last few nights, as many of you might recall, had dense line of vehicles, especially heading south towards the latter part of the evening. But so far, the line has remained consistent. That in part is due to the fact that we are running on one lane right now instead of two, which is the usual. So processing a little slower than previous nights. This could prove to be interesting as time draws short here in the time of public. So once again, a reminder, besides general donations and support for groups like this, Zakat al-Fitr is being collected and will be distributed tomorrow, inshallah. We expect stores between 300 and 500 individuals or families, I'm not sure which, to come to an ICI to receive their Zakat al-Fitr. So if you have not already given your Zakat al-Fitr, please get it in tonight so that the monies are available to distribute all of the checks required tomorrow. Zakat Zakatul Fitr is $10 per person, and that is any living soul in your household at the time of Eid, including newborn fetuses. Anyone that you are financially responsible for, you are expected to pay the $10 per person for that, as long as you have at least enough food for a day and a night in your house. You are considered required to pay Zakatul Fitr. If for some reason you do not have food for a day and a night, then you are considered a recipient of Zakatul Fitr. You would be what the West would refer to as food insecure, and your center, the Islamic Center of Irving, has many resources to try and help you in that regard. I've mentioned already our food pantry, which is available. All you need to do is email outreach@irvingmasjid.org with your information, and we can arrange for you to receive boxes of grocery items. We also have a partnership with Jebel Nur, which provides hot meals every day. I believe it's about 250 hot meals every day between 6 and 7, I believe it is. So that is another opportunity, another possibility that's there as well. So inshallah, those are things that are available for you if you do not meet that criteria of enough food for a day and a night. By definition, what's referred to as food insecure, and therefore you would be a valid recipient of Zakatul Fitr, and we would be happy to help you with other resources that we have, as well as inshallah finding you solutions to your longer term challenges that might be causing that situation to come to us right now. Those who aren't aware, up until this minute, I believe, we were running at the Islamic Center of Irving this afternoon a Eid Bazaar, which is just now finishing. So we had the opportunity to come by and to shop for gifts for you, your friends, your family, for Eid, as well as to support local businesses. We've been so hard because of the pandemic. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like our volunteers are starting to pack more meals. If I'm not mistaken. see them packing more meals. If I'm not mistaken, maybe reaching the limit of our current supplies in terms of what is ready. Still have significant lines of cars. As I had indicated earlier, this should be an interesting final evening. This effort does so many things beyond what's immediately obvious when you look at it. The community building that takes place during an event like this is huge. Shared purpose, the common cause, serving others.
I ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is smoking, the smoking break the fast?
Technically, it doesn't break the fast, but it's disobedience, so it kind of violates the spirit of the fast. You don't have to repeat the fast because it's not considered food, so it's not considered nutritious substance, but it violates the principle of the fast. It doesn't violate the fast itself. Thank you. Somebody approached with a question, he's one of the youth, mashallah, asking about fasting and smoking and the status of smoking while fasting, whether that breaks the fast. And among us best, but the answer that's provided to him was that while it breaks the spirit of the fast, it does not violate the fast itself. It's not seen as the ingesting of nutritious substance by usual route. So similar, and actually I actually heard this recently by someone on a call-in fatwa show. They were asking if breathing in the steam from a shower breaks their fast. And Shaykh explained to them that no, there's nothing that breaks your fast because of breathing in the steam from a shower. So or the example he gave was when your mother is cooking and she breathes the steam coming off the pot. Has she broken her fast? He answered very readily no, and he said the same is true with your shower. So these things are not nutritives, though they may be going in true routes. They're not considered a nutritious substance, something that's ingested for sustenance. So do not break the fast in the sense that you would have to repeat your fast a long time. So vendors are salt. Sorry. Stream as long as we can. The good news is we don't have to worry about our batteries today. Power was restored. Middle of yesterday's Iftaar to the ICI. Everything has been business as usual today. So, full charges all around. Remain on site. And don't try to move around. Cover other aspects of this, but we will provide a continuous stream as long as the event is ongoing. Got a growing queue for the walk-ups. I think right now their focus is on making sure the meals are ready for the cars as they approach before they turn their attention back to the walk-ups. Inshallah, at the end of the day, we will finish with approximately 1,300 meals provided today. As a reference point, we've done this now 8 different days throughout the month of Ramadan, approximately 1,300 meals every time, which means that we have done in excess of 10,000 meals throughout the month of Ramadan. That is what your center has provided this year, and inshallah it was something similar to what we've done in years past prior to the pandemic, just obviously in a different context and a different setting. For the most part, although I'm not always here in the evenings after Maghrib to see the outcome, but what I've seen from our community this year has been relatively good about minding the directions and minding the guidelines and stipulations that have been put in place, ostensibly to provide for our safety and our security, as well as our experience of this entire month, inshallah. May Allah reward all of our administration, all of our executive team that is working diligently day in and day out. I personally want to go ahead and call out especially brothers Nuruddin and Malik for the very difficult and hard work that they've been doing. So lift them up in your dua. Pray for the acceptance of the works of everyone involved. No man, bye. No man.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you talk to the people while you got a quick lull.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Islamic Center of Irving. As you can see, alhamdulillah, the count is now about close to 400 plus cars that we are serving for last hour or so. So alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, today is the final day for drive-thru in the month of Ramadan for Islamic Center of Irving. The biggest thank inshallah for the sponsorship from each and every one of you who have done it, and each and every one of you who has thought about doing it but could not do it. No big deal, may Allah accept your niyyah inshallah and reward each and every one of you immensely inshallah in this life and the life hereafter inshallah. So we asked for you for your du'as for all the volunteers that have been serving in the month of Ramadan, especially on weekends, providing this setup, serving the food, bringing the food and everything inshallah. So anything else?
I think everybody wants to know what happened to the hat.
Oh, it flew off, but somebody is wearing it inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa yaqum, assalamu alaikum.
For those who maybe aren't as familiar with what I was referencing, we jokingly referred to him as Big Tex when he's here because he has a cowboy hat on top of his topi. So the fact that it was missing was what I was calling out. I actually saw it earlier blowing around, so I knew the answer, but I wanted to get him on camera for that. Those sorts of things, the big text comment, this is an aspect of getting to know your community and the members of it, and getting to know them as individuals and appreciating the unique qualities that we all have. We all have unique qualities. We are not cutouts, we are not carbon copies, we are not textbook definitions of Muslims, each and every one of us. We each have our strengths and our weaknesses. We each have our particular proclivities, our inclinations towards certain things versus other things. And this is the nature of human beings. And this is the nature of our ummah and our community. And it's important for us to be able to appreciate and recognize each other's uniqueness and unique qualities and what make them individuals, and realize that in most instances those aspects of individuality, they are part and parcel of the tapestry that is the ummah. The ummah is not a monolith made up of clones of one another that are all walking in lockstep and repeating exactly the same things at exactly the same times, etc. This is a deception and a deceiving mindset that creates creates a sense of weakness that shouldn't be there. That we were never intended to be carbon copies of one another. If you look into the history of the Ummah, even during the time of the companions of the Prophet, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, may Allah be pleased with all of them, they were not carbon copies of one another. They were not, clones and just mere reproductions of each other. They were unique individuals that had their personalities, their proclivities, their ideas, their approaches, etc. And so they fell into disagreement. And I'll use the phrase that Sheikh Yasir Qadi used one time when he was talking about this. He was talking about that they fell into ikhtilaf, not iftira, meaning they fell into differences of opinion, which is completely permissible, but they did not allow differences of opinion to cause them to fall into iftiraq, which is to physically divide and separate from one another. This is the thing that we need to grow the maturity, spiritual and community maturity, in order to be able to adapt and weather those storms in such a fashion, such that we are capable of having ikhtilaf exist within our ummah without it causing iftiraq, without it causing division and separation and ostracization of one another. That we can leave space for these different points of view, these different approaches, the different madhahib, for instance. Many in the community might be of the Hanafi madhab, but that doesn't include everyone. Myself, I'm Hanbali. And so that puts me as a minority in the community, and I'm aware of that. And because of my role, I have to be cognizant of that fact and temper my zeal for certain opinions or positions, because I know that doesn't represent the whole. And that their difference of opinion with me is one that is based on knowledge, at least the appearance of knowledge, in terms of being based on scholars' opinions, legitimate scholars' opinions. I say the appearance because sometimes people do things claiming it's from the madhab without actually having studied the madhab to realize whether or not it truly is that position. That's the only reason that I say appearances. It's not to denigrate in any way Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, or Imam Ahmed, rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in. May Allah shower all of them with mercy. I think our next shipment of meals has arrived. Whoops, sorry about that. Sleeping at the switch. Being distracted by the activity in front of me. As I said, I will stream as long as we can. It's 7:23. I'm not exactly sure what it's about. We were scheduled to go until 7:30 approximately, but we'll see how it plays out. There are still cars coming, lining up for meals, and I believe that we are delivery of some more foodstuffs to assemble more of the meals. So I think we will keep going. I will keep streaming at least up until 7:45. At that time, I will likely end the live stream so that we can get ready for the impending of Salat al-Maghrib. You appear to be watching people taking the opportunity for the lull in traffic to catch up with friends. If at any point in time we're coming through these lines, or at any point in time throughout the month, the staff or the administration has maybe interacted with you in a way that was less than ideal, I ask your forgiveness. I ask your compassion. Many of them, if not all of them, they are working harder than you can possibly know, and sacrificing so much for the cause of this community, and trying to bring it happiness and joy, things of that nature, etc. So if they were maybe at less than their optimal operating efficiency at one instance when they interacted with you, I ask your indulgence, your forgiveness, compassion. Know that their intention is to only seek good for the whole of this community. And wherever we've fallen short, myself included, I beg your indulgence. And inshallah, we will do better in the future with your support. Looking forward to seeing you this evening and the coming days up until the Eid, and every day afterwards, inshallah. Say this much: the wind has been a blessing because it's been continuous and strong enough to cool it so that otherwise rising temperatures would not that's a simple example of the generosity of the brothers that are working here. The continuous flow of cars and the chaos dealing with all of the uncertainties and the whatever, and there's still the good spirits, the laughter, and the generosity. A lot of rewards, all of them, each and every one of them, brother and sister, man, woman, and child, young and old, with abundant good according to the absolute best of their deeds and the best of their intentions. I wish you could hear the laughter. You might be able to. I'm not sure how well the microphone is picking things up, the surrounding sounds. But the laughter of the brothers as they're working is truly infectious and truly a joy to listen to. Yes, we're still going. Inshallah. As I watch as the cars go by, especially with the young children, I'm reminded of last year's Eid drive-thru Eids, celebrations, the parades, etc. The hopefulness that seeing the young children engenders when they're allowed, they're able to experience these sorts of things where they see their community behaving in a generous, caring fashion and working to put smiles on their faces and things of that nature. It's not insignificant. It's important for our youth to be able to have a sense of pride and a sense of dignity when they reflect upon their identities as Muslims. And sometimes it's lost. It's sometimes difficult for them to hold on to because of the onslaught of the negative stereotypes and the portrayals and things like that. Inshallah, it's getting better slowly, but I'm not convinced that the changes that we're seeing are always for the best. While there may be visibility of Muslims in many contexts, it's not always for the right things. It's not always for the best reasons. Reinforcement for the positive spiritual virtues that we would like to see supported and engendered and encouraged in our youth. So Allah knows best, but we need to provide positive experiences and role models and experiences for our youth that they can have a sense of pride in saying proudly and loudly, I am Muslim. That is huge. That is huge. I oftentimes, when I'm speaking, especially to younger groups, I told them, I said, I've learned not to comment too harshly about what you see from the youth and school and things like that, etc., because I converted when I was 23 years old and I had lived a full life. And many others, even if they're not converts, they're so far removed from their youth and from the experience of being a youth and trying to be on the deen of Islam. I believe the answer is yes, we're still open. There are still some cars coming through. So you're welcome to come on down. Inshallah, we will find a way to make sure that you have something before you leave. I realized, I tell myself, if I was to try and be in the public schools the way I was growing up and maintain my Islam, maintain my identity as a Muslim, I'm not sure if I would have succeeded. I'm not sure if I would have succeeded. It is no daunting task to maintain an identity of a believer in the midst of a secular institution that is, whether by design or by default, undermining spirituality and religion in society. It's nothing small. It's nothing simple. And so when our youth are able to maintain even a small amount, as we would say a modicum, a smidgen of their identity as Muslims, in spite of being in the public schools in particular, and things like that, this, as difficult as it might be to see, this is a victory. This is something we should be grateful for. This is something we should be happy with. Because that's not an easy thing to do. And we should help them bolster those traces of their Islam that remain so that they can be ever stronger and ever more sure of themselves, so that it isn't a challenge for them. It's not all of our children that can be in a school like the one we have at ICI, Islamic School of Early. It's not everybody that can be in these other institutions where the environments are more Islamic, etc. So many of our youth, many more than I think we're willing to admit, they are growing up in public schools, public institutions, and facing all of the challenges that are faced with that experience. So we need to be concerned and caring for that reality and realize that being able to retain their identity in the midst of that is no small feat. And many of us, if we reflect on what we were like as youth at those ages in our teens, if we're being honest with ourselves, many of us, we were not religious people at that age. We were not, devoted devoted to the masajid. We were not devoted to the deen above all else and everything else. We had our hobbies, our interests, our circle of friends, etc. And so we should try and reflect on that reality so that we're not quite as harsh and critical of our youth. Because when we are, they tune us out. They stop listening. Even though what we have might be beneficial and might be true, they stop listening because we don't see them. We don't really see them and what they're experiencing, what they're going through, and what they really feel and think and believe. This is a huge challenge. And I apologize for kind of soapboxing, but give me this much time on an open mic is something's bound to happen. We are getting very near to the end. I will be cutting this live stream here in a matter of just 2-3 minutes. And then that will conclude the final drive-thru iftar for Ramadan 1442 here at the Islamic Center of Irving. Big Tex is finally back in effect. The hat found its way home. So all is well in the world, inshallah, at least for the moment. Given the lull, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it here. Everybody that has benefited, I pray that you remember us in your dua. Everybody that has helped, Jazakum Allahu khairan, may Allah reward you with good. And inshallah, we look forward to seeing you this evening for the 27th night of Ramadan, one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, seeking of Laylatul Qadr. And we look forward to seeing you come Eid, whether on Wednesday or Thursday. We will be making announcements regarding that Tuesday evening, inshallah. Other than that, I'd like to say thank you so very much. وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.